Okay, we are live. Hello, Sheila.
Good
How are you?
morning,
Hi, everybody. This is Sheila. How do you pronounce your last name?
Anwari.
Anwari. Okay.
Anwari.
And Sheila, what can you tell everybody what it is that you do for a living? What's your job title?
So I'm a therapeutic art life coach, and I own Therapeutic Art Science and Growth Mindset. Um,
It's a cool business.
Pardon?
That's a cool business.
That is that. I'm very passionate, and I've seen so much growth, not only in those that I help, but within myself. It's like a wonderful business that helps remind me to do what I preach.
Awesome. So today's topic is about mindset and having a healthy work-life balance. And before we hopped on this call, we were talking about how the American dream is kind of there to make us work all the time, so that we can afford that, house and white picket fence. And in Europe, they take a different approach um, to things. So can you share with everybody kind of your thoughts on that?
So let's talk about our personal experiences, right? In this society, we learn to work hard. Like if I use myself as an example, like in high school, hurry up and get the good grades, hurry up and do after school activities, get a part time job, volunteer, and then the next step is, oh my gosh, go to college or find a trade, find a job, get married, have kids, buy a house. Maybe not in that order, but it's like boom, boom, boom. It's like one thing after another. We don't talk about, okay, when I grow up, what can I do to bring peace or happiness in my life? It's more like, okay, what can I do to survive? What can I do to get the bigger and better? What can I do? And then, you reach a certain point in your life, then you're like, oh my gosh, I got to go back to school. Oh my gosh, I have to make more money. I have to get a better car. Or, maybe that's not typical for everyone, but it just seems to be that mindset and the culture that we've created here in this area, especially. And so it just never stops unless we decide that, okay, let's slow down and find time for ourselves
Hmm.
or find time to take a pause and be in the present moment. Because most of the time when we're like rolling in from one thing to another, from one meeting to another, from one activity to another, um, we're not really fully in the present moment.
Right.
And then we become very overwhelmed, right?
So yeah. So what? I'm going to skip around to a different question before we're going
Sure,
to go in
sure.
order. So that brings me to like how can we do that? Like how can we make sure that we make time for ourselves to achieve this, work-life balance that we're trying to get?
So right before I answer that, let's think about what exactly is work-life balance, right? It could mean different things to different people based on what their lifestyle is like. But basically, it's the equilibrium between a professional life and a personal life, right? It's something that we seek to make sure that we're putting in equal amounts of energy in both the professional and personal life. But oftentimes, and very seldom, can we do that because we get pulled in either direction and we can excel at one and let the other one start to slow down, or then they both start to falter, right? And so I guess your question was how can we improve on this, right?
Right.
So if it's very challenging. So anytime you want to take up a challenge, like let's say you're going to start a gym routine or a nutrition routine, or like let's say you're going to do uh, like a 5K, it does take a little bit of discipline. But if you're a beginner, how do people really start these types of regimens? They start with like a very, very tiny small amount of time where they focus on this particular focus, right? You just have a goal. You want a peace of mind. You want to try to help yourself have a work life balance. Take 5 minutes, start with 5 minutes, 5 minutes once a week if you think that that's too much, right? Then slowly add on 5 minutes a day, then slowly add 10 minutes. The goal is to get at least 20 minutes to 60 minutes a day just for yourself. You can to go for a walk, to do stretches, to breathe, to zone off, daydream, not being engaged in anything, any text messages, any emails. Oops, I got to send an email, or oops, I got to respond to a text message. It's like if you can go outside, if you can sit in a quiet room for 5 minutes and just be left. Most of the time, it's hard to be left alone with your thoughts because they're racing and you're constantly thinking about what's the next thing I need to do. Just 5 minutes.
Right.
And then gradually add on to that. And I think that is the first step.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's really important because, I like what you said about how we kind of can hyper focus on one or the other, work or life, kind of. If you focus too much on life, you're not going to get anything done at work. And if you're at work all the time, you're not going to enjoy your present moment and your family and the things you enjoy doing. And so let's talk more about what like that balance like should be and like how like so for example, what is work-life balance for one person versus another person? Like, is that going to be the same for everybody?
It
Or
isn't. It
okay,
isn't. It is not going to be the same because everybody's journey is very different. No two families, no two singular bodies of people have a same journey. We're all very unique in our upbringing and in our environment and how we've created our families. So it has to really come from like what do I need to keep my mental health and emotional well-being intact so that I can be the best version of myself for me, for work, and for home.
hmm,
Right. And so basically, the focus should be like preventative care in your mental health. Because what happens when you're constantly on the go, on the go, on the go, then your body starts to warn you. And of course, if you are type A or you're a passionate driven person, you ignore these signs: headaches, insomnia, anxiety. All these things are signs your body's telling you, hey, we don't have enough me time. We don't have enough time where we can um, separate ourselves from the on the go lifestyle. And so later on, God forbid that turns into like more severe health issues
hmm,
or like, more severe anxiety or depression or like, oh my gosh, I'm losing it on both ends. I can't keep up with my professional life and I can't keep up with my personal life. Something's wrong with me, but nothing's wrong with you. It's just, you just have to like take a moment to just be gentle with yourself. We're too hard on ourselves.
right. So I think for me personally, as a real estate agent, I work, a lot of people expect their real estate agent to be always available and just on call. And so that can be a struggle for me with the work-life balance thing, because I also have two little girls and a husband and, a dog and two cats. And you got to be there for people in your life, but you also have to be there for yourself.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so I love the advice you gave to me a few weeks ago, where you're
Mhm.
like, every morning you're taking this walk and you're not going to take your phone with you. And you're just going to focus on yourself. And I really appreciated that. Just kind of that. And you said it here too, just making sure that everyone who watches this knows that you're important too. And just to kind of take that moment, whatever it is, like, 'cause, um, it could be dancing, right? Art. So
Right.
I want to kind of segue a little bit into what you do and how you
Mhm.
help people to achieve not just a work-life balance, but like a positive mental state in general. So what are some services that you provide to people that you can help, and who would be a good referral for you? Who's somebody you could really help?
So we do education and wellness through arts and science. So the whole idea of wellness, like just to take what we already have access to and find ways to utilize them to help with stress release and emotional regulation. I mean, like let's say you're just really frustrated and you're not sure what to do with that emotion, rather than letting it out on, this person or this person, you can just step out into the room and you can use these tools to help, you know, bring yourself down to a level of calmness. The whole point is to encourage confidence, invoke creativity, um, and to learn how to manage stress. Because growing up, we were never really taught how to manage stress. We were just taught to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and some of the things were like, okay, suck it up. If you're sad, suck it up. If, if you're mad, suck it up. It's just like, okay, so what do I do with emotions, with all this emotion? So what happens is it just kind of gets trapped into your body in different parts of your body. And later, as adults, it comes out at times where you're like, wait a minute, everything is going well. I'm doing well at work. I'm do everything. I'm happy. Why don't I feel happy when I should? It's because your emotions that you didn't take care of, or the stress, is finally creeping up on you and saying, hello, remember you're supposed to take care of me.
Mhm.
And so what I offer is through the therapeutic arts, like coaching and teaching youth, teens, and adults how to better manage. And I teach different types of meditation and breathing. My favorite is guided meditation. A lot of people say, well, I can't meditate. I don't know how to meditate. And I'm like, guess what? There's different forms for different people. Not all of us can sit still with our thoughts. So there are different ways we can take care of our minds.
Very cool. Do you ever do group meditation, group
I
guided?
do. I do. I do. I'm also a Reiki master, and through that, we talk about energy work. So that's probably a different subject for a different time. But I've done that in a group setting as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm thinking about how our youth probably needs this a lot because I mean they start their day at what 8 a.m. They're in school like for a gazillion hours, and then they have to go to their dance class or their soccer game, and then they have homework, and it's just like their day's so full.
They're
Um,
exhausted, and
exhausted.
sometimes they have meltdowns, and in the middle of you're trying to go somewhere or you're trying to do something, you're like, no, don't have a. But it's like really trying to figure out like what's going on, what's going on, and just figure out how to ride that wave. Our emotions are completely normal. It is normal to feel whatever we are feeling based on our circumstance or what is heading our way. It's just a matter of learning how to channel it, let it pass through and channel it out so that it doesn't linger and stay with us for a very long time.
Right. So the takeaway here when I talk with you for me is just to make sure I'm taking the time and that I'm giving the time for my kids. Like I let them have their dance party in the morning, every morning after
Yep.
breakfast. Yes, it makes us 5 minutes later, but it's like it's important for them. Like and
Well, dancing and letting go is a huge therapeutic tool. That is something that is very therapeutic. If you can free flow and not care for like 5 minutes about the world and just let the music flow through you, it raises your vibration. That's what you want to do. You want to raise your vibration, and it sets the tone for the rest of the day. So when you're out there, dealing with clients, whether they're pleasant or difficult, you already have this like a shield that you've put around you of like, I'm at that mindset that I'm going to have the most amazing day because you did that 5-minute dance in the morning.
yeah. So I dance at night. I should probably dance in the morning with them. Those of you who've seen me dance know what I'm talking about. So Zumba steroids. Well, thank you so much for joining me. For
You're
those of
very
you who
welcome.
are watching, if you're watching later or now, no problem. We talked about work-life balance, and we have other topics. So we're going to try to do these a little more regularly. 'Cause my dog needs some positive mindset over here. Um, so, what are some other topics that you would like to hear us talk about? Some thoughts that we had were like about setting boundaries. Maybe we could focus on specific kinds of meditation that people might be interested in. You spoke about Reiki. We could do one about that. Not everybody knows what Reiki is. Not everybody believes in Reiki, but it'd be interesting to talk about. So, what other topics would you like to hear us cover, because she's a wealth of knowledge just on how to improve your life and your overall well-being. She certainly makes me relax every time I'm in a room with her. So
Oh,
let us know what you'd like to hear covered, and we will come back and talk on one of those topics. So thank you for joining us today,
thank
Sheila.
you. Thank you so much for having me. And I am very open to any questions or any topics that we can discuss next time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.